Okay, guys. Thanks for joining again. We're just going to have a couple more people joining in, and there's more and more people coming through. Hopefully, we are live on Facebook at the moment, and just want to start by a bit of a story, just to wrap up from last webinar. Is that we actually had something that come about from that webinar. It was about the environment, and there was a sad story about a dolphin that had died in Lazarus just a couple of days ago. And by a little bit of a network, we were able to get some researchers out through marine stewards and then also through Friends of the Marine Park to go out and see. And I think that's really the power of what we're trying to create here. And I just, that's again what we want to try and go through for all of these different types of webinars that we're doing and conversations that we're starting, and that we can create more of a community around what we're doing and then try and help each other. Okay, I'm going to get started into this. Hopefully you can see just for obviously the Singapore Marine Guide, Singapore Marine webinar series just started off as something just to get us all together, like I just said, and just to chat about certain things that come up in our industry. We've got a big industry, big community, but we don't get that much time to talk together. Now, I hope we can do that through these webinar series. Singapore Marine Guide, we're an online directory. We try to create more content around what people do. So if you're going out chartering a boat, you're going out doing any activity, or you're selling something, a product, then you can list it on our platform. So it's one of them types of platforms to go through. Now we've still got more and more people coming in, which is fantastic. And hopefully I can, finish everything that I have to say about Singapore Marine Guide before we get started. If you do want to join Singapore Marine Guide, it's totally open to, and you can just contact through the website or email me directly. It'd be great to have as many people as possible. Now, we've got a few people who've joined now and just want to go into charter, rental, marine tourism. Now, this is just way too big a topic for just 1 hour. And there is so many more conversations and discussions that need to be had around this. Just to mention, Singapore Tourism Board, the Marine Port Authorities and stuff. But today I've chosen three people who've really inspired me, who I've got to know for a few years now, and have all got their own little story to tell. They've created their own system or their own ecosystem of business, and I think that's a really good thing to see. And hopefully we can, we can learn a little bit from what they discussed today, and just go through, what the processes that they had to go through, and then what. So just want to start off with Minqi Wong. She is the daughter of TC Wong, who is a famous adventurer from Singapore these days. You would have seen in the news, and he was struck in Fiji during COVID times. So, but again, someone who I've known for a long time and who I've known who's gone through a big phase of the whole charter industry, which has been awesome. And then we got Captain Q. All right, Captain Q started off doing some fishing charters, but it's mostly about fishing. So it's entry-level stuff, getting people to really enjoy what they're doing. But he's really made a lifestyle out of his work and things. That's quite inspiring because everyone wants to do a fun job. And finally from Clement. Clement's, that's a lot of people will go through Clement's business, so the Boat Shop Asia, and will actually do their licenses and then go through to maybe rent a boat and then potentially go out and buy a boat. So there's all the, this is a really good storyline that I really want to show. So cool. So just to get started into, the charter, rental, and marine tourism. Now, we don't actually have many stats about what this value of the business is, but it could be huge. Okay, we've got 8 marinas, which I'll go through in a minute, and we've got, over 50 to 70 charter boats, whether they're fishing, sailing, wakeboarding, diving, overnight trips, day trips. Okay, there's a lot of boats activated, and then there's a lot of jobs that are being created around it as well. So that's really something to think about, especially from like an industry point of view, that we should all get together and discuss this and find if there's solutions that we can all work together and actually come up with things. Charter boats are they're a big part of the industry, because more charter boats are active, more people go on the water, more people experience them, more people go to buy boats, and charterers and charter operators, they go and buy more boats because they want to fulfill that as well. So we've got 5.8 million people here in Singapore, and we need to be able to like engage them and get them to see experiences. And that's something Captain Q is going to talk about a little bit later, which is going to be really cool. So along with that is that the actual jobs that we create and the training that actually comes about with this is it's really not being talked about, not being shown too much. And that's again something else. Now I've tried to do a little breakdown for you just here. So I've got, normally charter boats go from anywhere from 500 to 3,500 for a trip. Could be overnight, could be anything like that. They do roughly 8 to 25, and the value per year could be from $5 million to $10 million. Now, if we can actually have accurate numbers like this, we can actually go to the governments, we can go to different agencies, and we can discuss, ways that we can better help ourselves through boat sales, boat servicing, or just offering a general service. And cool. There's a couple of mentions, like we've got 3 great speakers today, but there's a couple of people I really want to talk about because they didn't get to be a speaker today. First is, I think Fever, there we go, back here. I think Fever Kayaking is doing a fantastic job taking people, and that's that entry level, getting people on the water, first time experiences, really knowing what they're doing, getting out the water and doing it in a really fantastic way. So my, hats off to them guys. Latara, so Max at Latara, I believe he's probably the first one to get a STB tour license and then run tours rather than just charter out to some of the islands. So we're going to talk about a little bit later when it comes to regulation, but that could really change the way that we all approach that. So well done to Max. And then lastly, Roy Kairos, Roy from Kairos, he's doing a fantastic job taking people onto the water, giving them experience, giving them a rush, but also explaining the heritage and touring people around. And I think that's a really cool initiative of his, and hats off, and hopefully we can have them talking in the next couple of webinars. I put Singapore Tourism Board and MPA logo up there. I just want you to probably think about that. It might be probably a question a little bit later, but obviously, where does boating sit in the whole thing? Where does charter boat sit? And so we'll get to talk about that a little bit. I'm just going to go through the very quick overview of all the different areas of Singapore. A lot of you will know this, but for anyone that doesn't, and I still get a lot of questions from people who ask about where to go, what to do, but I highlight the marinas here, and the marinas are actually the ones who hopefully can help these charter boats, these charter companies, to advance, to get better, or also to be more sustainable, or also just to have more business coming through. By doing that, the marina's busy, the restaurants are full, all this type of thing. So it's really important that the charter boats are looked after, the charter operators are looked after, and they're not just like pushed ahead and got to pay double the fees and all this type of things. So I'm just going to run around I'm going to go from west down south. I'm going to go to east, and I'm going to go to the north. Okay, so we'll start off at Raffles Marina. Out of Raffles Marina, you've got wakeboarding up in Pulau Seremban, and you've got some great SB20 crew there, and fishing charters are just going, off the hook. So you've got all these different activities out of the marina just there, let alone just doing your normal like chartering down to the islands. Next port we're going to go to RSYC, so Republic of Singapore Yacht Club. This is a springboard into some of the islands in the south, and notably like Pulahantu. So again, you've got a lot of dive operators, you've got a lot of fishing operators here, and people who are really going to, it's the oldest club in Singapore and linked to Monaco Yacht Club and things like this. It's a fantastic club to be at. So you got Pulahantu. So that's one of the premier spots that you can go to. A lot of dive boats will be there, and yeah, a lot of dive boats operate. Pulau Semakau, which is just opposite, unfortunately known as a rubbish island. But if you ever follow Ria Tan, Wild Singapore, she has some fantastic tours around there in the when it's low tide, and you can actually walk around, and it's amazing to see some of the wildlife, some of the marine life that's there. It's got a rich history, and I think we should be able to tell that story as well. Pulau Jong, every time I go here, I see this dolphin. Sorry, I see this turtle. This turtle pops up, and I see it every time. And another little island that people don't get to go to that often and don't stop by because there's nowhere to do. But again, it's a fantastic little spot. Over to Marina at Keppel Bay. And so this is where you start to springboard into the southern islands. So obviously you can go to like Hantu and all these places. But between Keppel and 115 Marina, all right, they've got direct access, and within 15 minutes you're at the southern islands. Oh, sorry, and then at 115 you've got the Singapore Yacht Show. Now, the Yacht Show hasn't happened this year, but events like this, festivals, yacht shows, is very good for like our public, our PR, you know, the way that we perceive to the public, and how we can push out and get more exposure. And that's what we need, is more exposure in the industry. So this type, so hopefully we can have the yacht show going in again in the future. Then over to Lazarus, and so this is right into the southern islands. So this is Lazarus Beach just here, and then you've got Kusu in the background. So again, very popular places to go. And then, you know, over 70 yachts were seen at this day. It was a national day last year. So it's just amazing to see so many boats out on the water. Yeah, so and this is the St. John's side. So Lazarus and Kusu. So, and then heading up, this is the Sisters Islands, which have been stopped for now. You can't be going there, and because they're doing some renovations to, and yeah, fixing up the jetties, and that's the marine park. And we talked about that in the last webinar. But it's, you know, they're trying to look after that area. They're trying to do some research and some great things by NParks and Friends of Marine Park there. There's a couple little other islands around there, like Tukuko and things like this. It'd be great if we, as a group, can actually explore these things. Getting on, this is on the way up on the east coast, or above the east coast, below Changi. Got constant winds. They're constantly doing activities like sailing and paddle boarding, and really, you know, again, entry level stuff and getting people onto the water, which is fantastic. All the way to Changi Sailing Club, super active on the sailing side, and it just a great place to go for an afternoon drink. Near to Changi's Changi Sailing Club is Pulau Ketam, and the channel that's there. It's just a very peaceful, very tranquil place that people didn't get to see much. There's more and more people going there, but again, like, it's just a different part of Singapore that I really feel like people need to be able to explore and have the opportunity to see. You've got Pongal Marina, which is right up the north. Again, one of the more older marinas, and a lot of activity that's going on there is based around wakeboarding. And the reason that is you've got a fantastic wakeboarding site, or unfortunately, it's actually, there's only certain wakeboarding sites in Singapore that you can go to, and Pulau Seletar is one of the easiest to access from a marina, calmest waters. It's full every week, and the charter boats are full, so good for them. But again, there's opportunity there. I feel like we could do. And over to SAF Yacht Club, where they've got some great programs of sailing and yeah, just different things going on. Cool. So that's my little wrap up. That's my little round Singapore. Just wanted to, just in case people didn't know about it. And so I'm going to hand you over to Minqi now, and Minqi's going to talk more about regulations and things we're going to. All right, over to you, Minqi.
Hello. Hi, let me just put up my slides. Can you see it okay? Is it okay? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Wade, for the introduction. And I'm really happy to be here to have this opportunity to do a little bit of sharing with you guys. Just a quick background and story about my story. My story really started from my dad because it has always been his retirement dream to sail around the world. So that was why we got the yacht Ximula. And so from then after that, a lot of our friends of friends asked if we could, if they could rent our yacht for birthday parties or gatherings, and that's how we founded Ximula Sail in 2014. So Ximula Sail, which I run now, is actually a yacht charter company that has two yachts. One is Ximula and one is Gracefully. Gracefully joined us in 2016. It is owned by Darren. So now Darren is my business partner. I'm sure most of you will recognize him. Yes, so we run on these two yachts, and we also work with many partner yachts to deliver charter experiences for our guests. So we really hope to be able to inspire more people to sail with us and to join us on our adventures, because we love sailing overseas. Back before we started charters, we sailed a lot in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Indonesia. And now with the charter business, we hope to be able to continue doing that as well, to have more people join us on our sailing adventures. Yeah, so, hold on. Okay. Hold on, yeah. Okay. So yes, it has been an amazing journey over the seven going on to 8 years, being in this industry. When I started, there were only a handful of boats available for charter. Like literally, you can count with your hands. But now, like what Wei has mentioned, is 50 to 70 charter boats, and so many people booking yachts every single day. Thanks to COVID, our industry is really booming, and it is really a blessing, I would say, for us. Yeah, so we run day charters to the southern islands, day in, day out. But if you know me, if you know my dad, if you know Darren, southern islands is not enough for us. So we have also many returning guests that have been to Lazarus like 4 times, 5 times, and asking us, where is the next place they can go? Where else can they visit? So before COVID, we actually run sailing holidays that go overseas. So we actually sail overseas on 43 nights, even up to 7 days, to places like Indonesia, Malaysia, many beautiful islands we have all around the region. But obviously, we cannot do that now because of COVID. Um, Borders are closed. So we started exploring our own backyard. And thanks to Wade and thanks to many information that is available out online, we started to look into other islands that we can actually bring our guests to. So like what we has mentioned, in the west, there's Pulau Hantu, Semakau. The night lights of Bukom are also very beautiful. And we also go up to the north, to explore the mangroves of Ubin and Seletar. And our guests have really enjoyed, and they always tell us that, wow, this is really like something like a holiday, when you can't travel, but you still can get the feeling of a holiday. Yeah, so we are sailing, we are really doing a lot of sailing holidays in Singapore. So having said that, because as the industry is growing, recently I've been getting a lot of inquiries from fellow neighbors, from other boaters, or even our charter guests asking us about this business, this industry. How can we really become a charter yacht? What are the requirements of a yacht charter company? Is it just having a boat? Do you just have a boat and then you can go and rent it out? So there are actually requirements that you need to look into to convert your yacht from private use charter use, commercial use. So there is a difference. So if you are someone looking to come into this industry, or even if you are just a guest that is interested to book a charter, I think it's important for all of us to have a general awareness of what are the differences, because then you will know why there is this difference, and that boats that are properly licensed have undergo stringent safety checks as well, so that because all our lives, our public lives are at stake, that is why we need to have this differentiation. So to go into a very brief idea for those of you who are interested, as long as you are collecting a fee or a payment from your guests for the use of your yacht, you need to be SIH licensed. You need to be licensed for commercial use. So out there, when you see boats that are SZ, they're also SIH. SZ, they should only be used for private use only, and SIH means that they are available for charter. Okay, so obviously they must be operated by a licensed PPCDL holder, and that will be under Clement's expertise. And then you need to have a legal berthing contract with an established marina in Singapore, any one of the marinas that Wade has shared. So for us, we are at 1 degree 15 marina. And please note that there will also, your berthing fees will then be doubled if you're an SIH boat. You also need to have insurance, additional cover for public liability, because all your guests' lives are in your responsibility now, you're responsible. So you need to have insurance coverage. And then you need to undergo an annual safety inspection by a recognized surveyor. These surveyors, you can find the list of surveyors in the MPA's website. They are all listed there, just contact any one of them. So you have to do this every single year, and every 2 years you need to go up for inspection. Your boat needs to be upslip to check if your hull is still seaworthy. So for us, we are surveyed by RINA. You can see there is a long checklist of things that need to be checked for your safety inspection. And this list, your surveyor will share with you and go through with you. There are things like you need to ensure you have more than sufficient life jackets. You need to ensure that your engines, everything are functioning, or your bilge pumps, your sea corks, or that your hand flares are not expired, and your fire extinguishers are serviced and well maintained. Okay, so these are all the things we go through every single year. But of course, as a charter yacht that is operating on a daily basis, I would say that even though you do this once a year, you should be doing this safety inspection on your own on a regular basis. You know, it shouldn't be just like once a year, then you do this. Yeah. Then every 2 years, we go for an upslip. So right now, Gracefully is actually upslip at the shipyard for bottom inspection. Okay. Then with insurance, you will get your SZH license. So all charter yachts should have an SZH license that shares that you are able to hire out for charters. Okay, and this SZH will be visible is supposed to be visible on your yacht. So these are the very basic first steps of getting into the charter business, licensing your yacht for charter. And many people think that, you know, to start this business, you just need to have a good charter yacht. It is licensed, and you have some cool water toys on board, and then ta-da, you can be a charter yacht. But for me, what I believe is it's really not just about the yacht. It is really about your people. Because for us, we are delivering experiences to our guests. So we hold a lot of value in our people and the kind of experiences that we deliver, because experiences are delivered by people, and our team needs to be happy first before we can inspire people to enjoy this experience as well. So our vision is really to inspire a happy sailor in every single person that we meet on board or along the pontoon, or, you know. So we hope to be able to inspire more people to come out and sail with us, not just within Singapore alone, but also in future when we are able to go overseas, people can join us as well. So having said that, at present right now, because the industry is still growing and evolving, there are no proper structures or training standards for skippers and crew, although they are such a big part of what a charter business should be about. So there is no standards currently available, but I find that it is important for us to have this discussion now about, how should we ensure that people who are chartering yachts can enjoy this activity safely, so that beyond COVID, beyond in future, this activity can continue in the long run, and people see this activity as a lifestyle and not just something that you come and you party and then you celebrate your birthday and then that's it. It should be something that we can do on a daily basis, as a holiday, as a family. So which is why I thought it's good for me to share a bit about some of the practices that I think that we practice ourselves, and also what I think the industry as a whole should also practice as well. So some of the good safety practices that we do is during charters, we ensure that there is always a safety briefing before departure. Your skipper should be telling you about the safety hazards to look out for on the yacht and what to do in case of an emergency. Whether you are a yacht owner hiring a skipper, or whether you're a skipper yourself, or whether you are someone who is booking a yacht, these are the things that you need to expect for safety, because your lives and your guests' lives are at stake as well. So this safety briefing is always the most important for us, because anything can happen out at sea. Trust me, we have seen all sorts of things happening, and you would want to know what to do in case something crops up, whether the weather suddenly change or whether something breaks down. Okay. And there should also be at least one skipper and one crew on board with the guests at all times. Some bigger yachts have more crew to look out for the guests. But for us, our yacht is small, so we have at least one skipper and one crew. There should be at least two people, because things can happen out there, weather can change, or your boat gets struck by lightning, or your skipper gets struck and one is down. You need someone else. You at least have a crew to take over. So we also make sure that our skipper and crew are alert and looking out for the guest safety at all times. They shouldn't be sleeping. They shouldn't be playing on their phone, or worse still, they shouldn't disappear in the middle of the charter, because these are lives that we need to look out for. And I hope that more and more charter yachts are able to practice this during your charters, so that more and more people come into this and come and do this activity, they are able to enjoy it safely, and we can all continue to grow as an industry. Of course, on a daily basis, we also maintain and service our engines and working parts regularly, not just once a year, but we do it on a weekly, monthly basis. And especially because now it's COVID, your yacht should be washed and cleaned before and after every charter for hygiene reasons. So these are the things that we practice, and I hope that more and more people would be able to share. And I'm happy to learn from many other charter companies how they, what kind of safety practices they have. And I hope that in future we are all able to grow as an industry. So yeah, that's all from me. I'm leaving my contact details here, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Minqi, and that was amazing, and good to know all the lowdown on getting sorted to become a charter boat. So I'm going to hand you straight over to Captain Q now, and Captain Q is going to talk about his part.
Hey, thank you, Wade. Okay, I'm Captain Q from Wanderlust Adventures and also My Fishing Frenzy Academy. So that before I start, let me share something about how I come into this business. So actually, I should thank the Singapore government, particularly MINDEF, because they posted me to the Navy during my NS time. So when I was in the Navy, right, that was when I learned fishing, actually. I learned fishing, I learned diving, and I learned how to drive a boat. So of course, after my NS, I did not go straight into this industry because that was not what I studied. I studied actually civil engineering. But also thankful for my my 12 years of work as an engineer, basically in the business development, that helps me, have a business sense on how to run business. So after 12 years in the construction industry, I decided to buy my first boat. So let me share with you. It is a fishing boat designed for fishing because that's my hobby. So not just fishing, I also do spear fishing. I also do scuba diving, also free diving. So all sorts of sea activity stuff. So after I bought my first boat in 2015, and that's also the time when I met Clement. Clement actually gave me a lot of good advice because a new boater, right, always have a lot of sleepless nights, right, because of the new boat. So as the saying goes, right, I believe a lot of people has heard of this. The two happiest day in a boater's life. First day is when you buy the boat, right? So what is the second day? Can some of you write in the chat group what is the second happiest day in the boater's life? Okay, so the second day in boater's life, right, is when you sell the boat. So I don't want this to happen. So but the thing is, there are always a lot of problems in owning a boat. So there's this Chinese saying, say 久病成医, meaning when you sick for a very long time, you can become a doctor yourself. So that time, right, I handled a lot of the boat problems, and Clement will know that. So after handling so many problems, right, I can become the doctor myself already. So to own a boat is a tough journey. It's either you have to have a strong heart or you have a very deep pocket. So I apparently belongs to the one with the very strong heart. Okay. So after that, I bring a lot of friends out to fish. So and I start to teach people how to fish, and especially when we go for these fishing out at sea, right? I also want to enjoy fishing myself, but then a lot of my friends who don't know how to fish, right, come on board, and then I have to keep teaching them. So to solve that problem, I start to teach them to fish on land first before they go on board. So I have more time to enjoy myself, and that was when I started the fishing academy. It's actually all started because of my friends keep asking me to teach them fishing. So this was the My Fishing Frenzy Academy where I started, and more and more people came and started to want to sort of charter my boat, because initially it is not for business, it is just for leisure. So and eventually, so I started this Wanderlust Adventures, which to charter the boat out for fishing. So I also quit my job after 12 years and concentrate on this chartering. And that is also when that was when I moved to 1°50 Marina, and I met two amazing friends, and one is Minqi, and the other one, of course, is Wade. So very thankful that that I met these two people, because that is when that I understand more of the charter business, and also we have the common goal of building this whole industry together. And thankful to Wade, who put in so much effort, of doing the Singapore Marine Guide, and trying to find out all the statistics about the marine industry, so that we can actually have our very own boating industry, because now it's like scattered pieces here and there. So everyone, seriously, when you're on this Zoom, right, you have to be thankful to Wade for doing all this effort. Please type "thank you, Wade" in the chat group, please. Very grateful. And give him a round of applause. So, but the thing is, when I reach this 1°15, right, I realized many boaters doesn't know how to fish, and I was surprised. So during the charters, I started to do those fishing related ones. Starting is pure fishing charters, but then a lot of people don't know how to fish. But then there is also a crowd that wants to try out fishing, but not so much. So that's when we started our sunset dinner cruise, where we bring couples out to go and fish, and after that they could go for a romantic dinner, plus the fish that they caught. Okay, and also we also have this catch and barbecue experience. So catch the fish, bring the family out, then after that our guys will process, will clean the fish, then barbecue on the then we'll barbecue the fish. So I'm sharing all this is because this is all our this unique selling point. I'm sharing all this is because a lot of the charterers actually have their own expertise. Like Minqi is expert in sailing to places, 4-day 3-night and stuff like that. For us, it's fishing. So everyone try to, you know, get this unique selling point out to bring in more people to get interested, because we have to look at the bigger picture of building this whole industry together. So when there's economy of scale, it makes boating and chartering, right, more affordable to people, more affordable to everyone. So our vision is that everyone should have the, you know, have the right to enjoy the freedom to be out at sea. So whoever wants to enjoy can go. Okay, it is because now the common impression is only, you know, yachting is like a luxury thing, but no, we have to make it everyone to be able to go out at sea. So that's why when during before COVID, we are also helping a lot of those less privileged people. Like for example, we bring those injured workers out who are, you know, injured and they are being abandoned by their boss. So we brought 60 of those workers out to island to fish. So they were very happy because they were quite depressed at that time. And also actually we've been working with CPAS, those Cerebral Palsy Alliance Singapore, to you know, raise funds for the children. And actually we are also talking in 2019, that was me talking to the principal to bring the cerebral palsy kids, right, to go out at sea to really try something. So we really want everyone to be able to go out, to be able to enjoy going out at sea. So the how to do that is actually all the boaters here, the charterers here, right, work together and build this industry together. And that is how we can have united forces, right? That then we can build magical wonders. Okay, so we strongly believe, right, life is not about you know, how many boats or yachts you own. No, it's about how many lives you can touch. So if you guys agree with this, right, please type 888 in the chat group. So so my sharing is actually very short and sweet. Basically, I feel that this chartering industry has a very big potential. Singapore is an island country. So as an island country, what is more popular to not to promote this marine tourism? So the and regarding the marine tourism part, now is actually the booming period for us. But we also have to prepare when the borders are open, the tourists will come in and the local domestic market will go out. So we have to prepare for that during this comfortable time. And when the tourists come in, right, we are also be able to accept the tourism market. So with that, for those who are interested in to join into the marine industry, the chartering business, you can feel free to contact any one of us. Feel free to contact Wade. And for those who wants to buy a boat, actually now we have also evolved to helping people to buy the boat, and we can charter out for them. So we have a lot of owners. Actually, it's from our own customers who go fishing trip with us, who go out with us very often. They actually want to buy a boat. So okay, why not you just buy a boat? Then we can charter it to offset your costs. So with that, I will end my sharing today, and back to you, Wade.
Awesome, thank you, Captain Q. And yeah, it was a really good point that you touched on just there. Is that we're an island surrounded by, islands are surrounded by water, so that we've all got an opportunity to get out there and experience a different activity, and you know, different experiences is really what it's going to be about to grow our industry. So thanks for sharing. I'm going to hand you over to Clement Chua now from the Boat Shop Asia, and he's going to tell you about his things.
Thanks, Wade. Hi, everybody. My name's Clement, and I'm from the Boat Shop Asia. We like to call ourselves TBSA. Today, I'll talk to you about. I'll be talking to you about how we're helping to make boating affordable to the masses. Right. I think one thing that Captain Q did mention earlier is really about collaboration. The first time I worked with him was, I think it was 2014, where he had many anglers. He had some teachers who could teach people how to fish, and I had a couple of boats, and we collaborated by bringing kids. We call it Teach Me to Fish. We brought kids over to Lazarus, actually taught them how to catch little fish, by the jetty, and then we released the fish after that. So it was a really good experience with this, right? I'm going to share a little bit about my story, about how I got started. In about 2013, I went sailing with a friend. He just got his sailing license, and he decided to take me out in a small dinghy. That was, we almost died because there was a big ferry that came and almost ran into us off SAFYC. What got me started was this romantic notion of piloting my own boat and going out with my family and friends, right? So immediately after that, I went to take my PPCDL. I passed my PPCDL, and I decided that, look, I really wanted to go out and charter a boat and bring my family out. I went to every single charter company out there, right? And that was 2014. At the time, like what Minqi said, there was just a handful of charter boats. I called every one of them. I probably called Minqi as well. And they said, no way am I going to let you drive my boat. So I wanted to charter a boat. I wanted to pilot it myself and go, and nobody would do that for me. So what I did was I went to the US and bought myself a boat. I shipped it into Singapore. And when it arrived in Singapore, I decided I was going to take my family out on the first day. So I brought my wife, my 2 kids, and my friend and his girlfriend out. And on the first trip out, we ran aground on the reef, south of Lazarus, right? And then I realized why nobody would lend me their boats, because I'm probably gonna drive it into a reef after that, right? So we got it back, we got it repaired, and my wife said, "Hey, look, I'm sure there are lots of people with a PPCL license but do not have a boat to drive." And we went to check the stats. At that time, there were about 20,000 PPCL boaters in Singapore, and there were about 2,000 boats available in the marinas. So there's huge arbitrage here. So we're thinking, hey, look, why not we start bringing some of these boats into Singapore, and we can charter them out for bareboat on bareboat charters, which is what we did. We shipped in another 4 more boats into Singapore, and we started chartering out. And that's where we went through a lot of issues where we realized that boaters really don't know how to take care of boats. They don't know how to drive a boat. When the boats came back, there were dings, there was chips on the propellers. Some of them were run aground. Sometimes there was blood stains on some of the boats. And we didn't know what happened, right? So we spent a lot more money fixing those boats than actually making money from the charters. And this was not a viable business model. So we took the next step of creating a course to teach people how to drive a boat, how to manage the safety of his passengers and safety of others on the boat. Like what Minqi said earlier, the captain of the boat is very important because he is responsible for everyone else in the boat. And if he doesn't know how to do that, then it becomes a problem. So we thought that PCDL was sufficient for us to put someone on the boat, but it wasn't. So we created this course called a competency course, and we started, and that was really a bridge between a PPCDL boat, which is a sampan with a 60 horsepower engine, and a 30-foot boat with a 260 horsepower engine, right? So that was really the bridge, and created a course. The uptake was not bad, it was quite good, and we started chartering the boats out after we completed the course, and boats came back fine, right? So I think we were on the right track there. So this was really our story of how we got started with TBSA, where we really wanted to boating to the masses. I'm not sure whether you remember how expensive it was to charter a boat in 2014. I believe it was about $3,000 to $4,000 each time you go out. We started the bareboat by charter business with $400. That's about 10% of the price. But you need a PPCDL and you need to complete a competency course with us, right? And that's where we really want to bring down the cost and entry barrier of boating to the masses in Singapore. So I'm going to take you through the TBSA over the years. So like I said, we started the business in 2013 and 2013. And 2014, we managed to bring the bareboats into Singapore. So I think at that time, we had about 4 or 5 boats in Singapore. in 2015, RSYC came to us because we've been running a competency course at the premises for a while. They came to us, would you like to run the PPCDL at RSYC? We said, well, okay. So at this point, we started growing the team from just competency trainers to the PPCDL trainers as well. In 2006, we started the PPCDL at 115. And between 2016 and 19, we collaborated a lot with Wade, actually me and Wade, because that was where we got in the Singapore Yacht Show as a participant. And then we started running some of the events there as well. We also started what we call a Sea Sports Extravaganza. Now this is really to bring out people who enjoy the sea and sun and the sand. We will take a couple of boats out to Lazarus. We blow up this big thing called a block. We allow people to jump into it, and other people just surf. We put out kayaks, SUPs. So that was good fun. We had an event at RSYC at 115 and also at Lazarus. We started running charity cruises with RSYC to bring the underprivileged kids to Pulau Hantu, where we spend a day playing with them, blowing up balloons and bring them out for jet ski rides and so on, right? And fast forward a little bit, in 2019, we started a dealership. We took on the Quicksilver brand. So now we are the Quicksilver dealer as well for Singapore and Malaysia. Last year, we started training and charters in Penang. So we decided to branch into Penang in collaboration with this company called Pongal Marina. They are, I think, one of the largest yacht distributors in Penang. So they like the model, the community model that we have in Singapore. They wanted to into Penang. So we started working with Mr. O in Pongal Marina. We created courses for them, and they have boats there. So the idea is that whoever's completed the competency course in Singapore is able to go to Penang and start chartering a boat there on a bareboat basis, right? And we also started our virtual PPCDL courses in 2020 because of COVID. And this year, at the beginning of the year, we became an IYT certified training school. Now, PPCDL, as you know, is just a local license valid in Singapore. If you go to Malaysia, you don't need a license, so it doesn't apply. But if you go to Hong Kong or Australia or any parts of the world, it doesn't apply. IYT actually gives you international recognition to the license. So we have a for to IYT, which gives you an IYT ticket, which allows you to self-drive a boat in Australia, in Europe, and so on. It's recognized in those countries, right? So what's coming up for us is a lot more self-drive boats. We are bringing more boats and more locations. We're going to expand into Malaysia, KL, as well as in Puteri Harbour, Indonesia, and also Thailand in the next 1 or 2 years. Right, so to help boaters get their sea legs, we have actually created a program called the Boat Journey Program, where we start with PPCDL. Now, PPCDL is what you need to get started in Singapore, because that's a local license. And after that, you can go into either competency course if you just want to boat locally, or you can do a IYT course with us, which gives you the ICC certificate up to 10 meters, right? And with that, you are able to go to different parts of the world. They recognize the license, and you can charter boats there. You can drive there, right? And after the competency course or the IYT course, different self-drive boats in Singapore. We got one in Wong. We're going to have a few more in Port Klang, Puteri Harbour, potentially Port Dickson as well by end of this year. And if you decide that you want to buy a boat, we do have the Quicksilver brand, the Heyday brand, as well as some of the brokerage boats available. All right. And like what Captain Q is doing, if you buy a boat and you decide, hey, look, I'm just going to use it twice a month, 3 times a month. I want to break even on a boat because I don't want to pay for my berth, my cleaning, and the maintenance. You can actually put it back into the fleet under the bareboat charter program, right? Where if you are a boater and you've gone through the competency course and or the IYT course, you know that the people we put in the boats or hand the keys over are people who actually drive those boats. All right, so this is basically the boating journey program of a new boater, and the bareboat charters now start just from $250 for 4 hours, which is a far cry from the $3,000 or $4,000, 6-7 years ago when you try to charter a yacht there. And I think the reason for us to be able to do this right now is really the collaboration in the industry, as well as the number of charter boats that we have in the industry that's competing with each other, right? I mean, if you've got 5 charter boats with 5 in Singapore that's going after those, the price is going to be 50, then it gets more moderated. So the key thing here is really economy of scale, right? To bring down the cost of both, obviously bareboat charters is one of them, but if we have a lot more of us participating in this boating industry, enjoying the boating lifestyle, growing industry, I think this is something that's going to lower the cost of boating here in Singapore. Okay, so where are we right now? This is my final slide. 2 country locations. We are marinas. Singapore, we have got boats in RSYC, Keppel, MKB. We've got boats 1 degree 15. We've got boats in MC. We've also got boats in I think it's Ximula Marina. We've got 8 self-drive boats that you can get, and it's growing. I think by next month, 10 or 11. Couple of training locations, dealership. What's important here is that we have a lot of community members. We've been accumulating these community members over the last 7 years. Many students who have gone through our courses, and a very large instructor team that's very, very committed to our students and the crafts. Okay. Right, this is my details. I've completed my presentation. I'm going to hand over to Wade to take over.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Clement. Yeah, it's most people, well, not most, probably a lot of people through Singapore have gone through like Boat Shop Asia to get their PPCL and to get into boating. So thanks for giving us the insights and and for showing us what the next steps are to go boating in Singapore or to get into the marine life. So guys, we just got the end of the speakers now, and I've got a few questions that came in through the website. I'm just going to share them with you now, and we see if we can get a couple of them answered here for you. Okay, question 1's from Michael. With the marinas so full, do you see the government opening up more marinas or supporting existing marinas to expand to expand? I'll give it to Clement to talk about.
Yeah, I believe that the Singapore government is looking at sites to develop more marinas. I'm hearing that one of them is going to be near the near MBS, right, where the ferry terminal is. I think one of the things that some of the marinas are doing, especially in 115, is that they are reconfiguring the berths to actually free up more space so that you can take in more boats, and which is very important, because one of the barriers of owning a boat here in Singapore, apart from cost, of course, is the availability of the berths, where you do not want to put your boat in the north when you're boating in the south, because it takes you an hour to get to the south. It costs you $200 on infield one way to get to the south. If your boat, do not put your boat south. So I think there are still some of the marinas that vacancies, like for example, Raffles Marina. I think if you look at SAFYC, there's still some vacancies out there as well, for sure. But in the south, I think it's pretty full, and I'm just glad that the 115 is actually reconfiguring their berths, and the government is looking at opening up new marinas in the south.
Cool.
Great.
Thanks, Clement. Okay, so that I think that just answers that. would be very interesting to know like more of an updated schedule about different projects that will be happening around. So it's good. It's a great question, Michael, and I think we can come back to that. Okay, the next one we've got here is from Matthew, and this will be for Captain Q. What agency does charter boats fall under? So MPA with the Marine Transport, or through the Singapore Tourism Board?
Okay. Basically, all vessels, right, are under MPA. So most of us are under this category called water transport. So that's why we are not even considered a charter industry yet. So that's what we want to do, to grow, that it can become an independent category that charter charters. So for STB, right? STB basically is only for those who want outbound or inbound tours using the, and then can proceed to get the STB license. But for chartering, actually we only need to get the license from MPA.
Cool, thanks, Captain Q. So yeah, I just double down on that. Just again, like talking about Max from Atara, he's gone out to get the tour agent's license. And there's a bit of a process towards that, but I think it's a necessary one that we need to all look at in the long run. And also with Roy from Kairos with his rib rides. Again, that's another thing that it's a new thing. No one was doing that before COVID, and he's just come up with that, and that's initiatives that I think we all need to have a really good discussion about later on. Okay, so we've got this one, which I'm going to hand to Minqi. Can you use or rent motorized water toys at Lazarus or St. John's?
Can you use or rent motorized water? Yes, you can, but you need to have a PPCDL license for anything that is motorized. As long as there's an engine, you need to have a PPCDL holder to be able to operate that toys. Yeah, and if you are towing, if you're doing any kind of form of towing or water skiing, there are only restricted areas that you can do that. Yeah, so I think Bate is more familiar with this one.
Yeah, so I think it's a good question from Daniel. This is probably more in regards to how popular St. John's and Lazarus has become, and it becomes a little bit dangerous for people to use different water sports. And again, just like Captain Q was saying, the charter industry doesn't really have its own industry or have its own association, and so it's the same with the water sports and things that there's no one actually controlling it. So it's easier just to say no than it is to actually make it something that people can do. So it's definitely another question that we need to expand on, and we need to have a chat about and the bigger things. Okay, back to question 3, but it's not. Is there an association that I can join to get more details about the charter sector industry? So I'll take that. There is a Singapore Boating Industry Association, which is quite strong with its network, and needs a little bit more work on actually becoming a knowledge base, a knowledge source, so that everybody can go there, collect it, get information like we're talking about in these on these webinars. And it's something you can join, become a member. You can find out more from singaporeboating.com or .org. Cool. And I've got one last question. Okay, yep, this is a great one. As a business, can I get financing for a purchase of a yacht? And I'm going to give this to Captain Q.
Oh, this is, of course you can your friends and your family. Okay, the thing is, there are very few or even no financial institute that want to use yacht as a collateral, because to a lot of the organization, right, it views as a liability more than asset. So to basically the barrier for entry of getting a yacht is the upfront payment to buy one. Then subsequently, of course, the maintenance and all the the tough part. That one actually that's where people get upset. Yeah. So from what I know, it is you can only get from friends and your family. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's a great question because a lot of places all over the world will do financing for yachts, especially if you're going to be buying the yacht to then create business and get jobs and generally develop something. And the agencies would support that. And I really think that that's where it all comes back to, is that we do need this support from a government agency for the financial institutes to really back us and to be able to give the money, knowing that it's not just giving to a person, it's giving to a whole industry, or it's giving to a business who's part of a big industry, that there's actually some safeguarding there. At the moment, we're all pretty much just a bunch of individuals running our own business. And I think that's really the strong point we need to have a little chat about, or big chat about for a long term, and so getting by. Okay, well, that's 5 o'clock, everybody. And I want to say a big thank you to Clement, Captain Q and Minqi for turning up. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you who turned up to the Zoom and followed us live, or if you watched it after. I got some great feedback from the last webinar that we did about the environment. And if you've got some feedback, please do send it through, and we'd love to talk about. Got our next one coming up the end of next month. And yeah, we'd love to have you on there. And if you've ever got any questions, please don't hesitate to send it through to you. And just want to say thank you. All right. See you later, guys.
Bye. Bye.